Another week, another trading cycles video. We have made it to week 34 of the year 2023. My name is Eric, and before we continue here with what Urmas has to say about what happened the last week and what might happen this upcoming week, as always, do keep in mind that the information that we share here is only for educational purposes. We do not provide financial advice, and always trade the price and not the prediction. What have you got for us this week, Urmas, and how are you?
All right, I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for asking. I hope everyone else is as well, and you're not too much worried about correction we got going on the markets. So this is quite normal in most cases. Markets do breed, and they can't go up in a straight line. They always need to correct themselves, and usually they do correct roughly 3-4 times a year by 5 to 10%. So that's quite normal. At the moment, we have seen corrections since end of July, which has been around 5 to 6%. So not too much so far. So no panic just yet. So we shall see if it's gonna turn into panic, but hopefully not. But if it does show these signs, then we will obviously let you know as well what we see here. So if we look at the levels that we have talked about, we did point out those support levels, and the price went through 2 of them quite easily, and now it stopped on Friday against the last one here, which was 4,332 points on S&P, and it did go back a bit. So basically, I do expect some sort of retracement next week. So it should go back a bit to the upside and then might continue to decline. So that's what we have pointed out in our prediction here as well. So that's how it looks like, yeah. So far so good, if you can say it that way. So the prediction is right.
The prediction is right, yeah.
Yeah. And the next turning point is coming up on Tuesday, the 22nd, yeah. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, if you look at the seasonal prediction that we had posted last week, that also suggested that the market will correct. It did point out that it might correct from Wednesday, but actually it started declining from Tuesday quite heavily. So that's what actually happened, yeah. So they're not always that right, but at least we can see the tendency of the market here, what might happen, yeah, obviously. Now the 50-day moving average is also now quite low, so on 36, I believe, as of now, and we might get to that green zone quite soon. So be prepared, yeah. So if markets do keep declining up until end of September, then yes, we will end up in that green zone quite easily, and we might stay there for quite a bit then, yeah. In the next, how many weeks we got to go? Then 5-6 weeks, yeah, basically. So, and as we have pointed out previously, that it tends to stay in these zones at least for 3-4 weeks at the time, yeah, and then it kind of retraces. So that's quite important to bear in mind. Now yield curve is still negative, so nothing has really changed there. It has improved a bit, but still in minus 0.60, I think, or somewhere there. So still some time to go until it gets to the 0 point, yeah, and starts becoming normal. Sector rotation keeps going as expected, so it is turning clockwise so far, and there are nothing really unusual going on so far. Okay. and Fear and Greed Index has now come to the neutral zone. This is by BBC. And yeah, we might get some fear soon, so be prepared as well. But yeah, I do expect that next week we do see some sort of improvement there. So the correction might stop for a little bit. Now, astrological factors are in play as well. So we got some negative aspects on Tuesday, and on Wednesday we have Mercury turning retrograde, which happens 3 to 4 times a year, and usually it points to the turning points in the market as well when these things happen. So at the moment we have been in retrograde Venus season, and that usually tends to indicate market declines as well. So that has come through, and I suggest that from Wednesday the markets might turn to the upside for a moment when Mercury turns retrograde. Yeah. Seasonally, we have been in that zone now, so we are in decline, and that's suggesting that, and it will point to the October turning point here as well. So we'll see how it plays out then. Yeah, we don't need to look at that. That's almost the same. So that's basically a 60-year cycle. Now, VIX index is suggesting that we will see some sort of fear in markets. It's not always that accurate time-wise, but we are in that zone. So up to October timeframe, we might see some sort of panic forming there on markets. So that's something to be aware of. So if that normal correction is going to turn into panic, then yeah, that is suggested by this prediction here as well. Now next week's seasonal picture is here, and it's quite flat, to be honest. Yeah. So for spiders, not so much movement, although 7 years out of 12 has seen rising prices at this time. Yeah. And the Qs are a bit more positive for this time frame. So out of 12, 8 times has the price risen. Yeah. So that is the picture now, what we have for you. Now let's have a look at some markets more closely. We have had some questions in regards to a couple of companies, and I will go through them quite quickly. So in regards to Tesla, Tesla is clearly in downtrend at the moment, and both on weekly and daily, we have formed quite important resistance levels here, and it did turn from these levels quite easily, and we had divergence going on as well. So that's very, very strong indication that the market was turning, and we did point that out earlier as well. So yeah, at the moment it's clearly in a downtrend. The next support level is coming at around 182, and let's see if it gets to that point, or is it going to turn now earlier. So it's hard to say, obviously, before. If you look at some other companies like Amazon, we have had questions in regards that as Amazon has been very strong still compared to other technology companies, maybe it's time to buy it, but I would argue otherwise. So at the moment with Amazon as well, we are at a very important resistance. So obviously if it breaks through that, then yes, but at the moment it's a no. Yeah. So I wouldn't risk it. The risk reward is not really in favor. All right. So we'll have to wait and see, and sometimes it's quite hard to sit on your hands and do nothing, but yeah, that's what is suggested at the moment, to do nothing really on this market. Also on Google, same picture basically, yeah. Quite heavy resistance, and price has turned away from that level not heavily, but still it's kind of in the channel now, and waits to break out at some point, but at the moment it's very quiet. What else? If we look at the Netflix, basically the same picture here as well. So we have formed some sort of resistance here, and the market has turned to the downside. So it is correcting as well. And the next support level is quite far away for Netflix, at around 359, 360, somewhere there on daily, and on weekly even further away, so 327 at the moment. Yeah. So also need to be careful unless you want to take then bearish trades, yeah, short trades. All right. Also, Palantir has been in focus quite heavily, and the retail traders have really liked that one. Obviously, that's one of the AI plays, and it's kinda in the hype category at the moment. But as we see from here as well, there is quite heavy resistance, divergence going on, and obviously market did correct. Now we are in some sort of support level here, yeah, at 1380, yeah, somewhere there. So we might see a bounce back now. So obviously I would be really careful with that, but the support seems to be holding at the moment. So let's see if it turns next week. Okay. What else was there? So I think that's about it. If you look at the Qs themselves, so that's basically also suggesting that we are coming to that support level on daily at least. If you look at the weekly, then the support is quite far away, so I need to be careful with that. But yeah, we might see some sort of bounce higher, as I said earlier. So that's in regards to technology sector mainly. And spiders, if you look at them as well, let me put this one on screen as well as the last thing. So as we can see, there's also a support forming, and we did show it on another chart. So it's basically the same thing. We are at that very important support level, and we might see some bounce back now. All right. So that's about it, I think, from my side. If you have any suggestions, or you want to analyze some other stocks by us, then please let us know, and we'll be happy to take a look at these as well. All right.
Of course, yep. So as Robert said, our comment section is open as always. If you have any queries, if you have any questions, ideas, those go in the comment section. Or if you just want to let us know how cool the work is that we do is, then obviously you can rate that as well. Anyways, thank you very much, Irmas, as always, and thank you for watching and listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get notified when we upload next. That's weekly, by the way. And like the video if you haven't done that already. As well as that, I would ask you kindly to share the video if you know of anyone that might be interested in the content that we create. But if not, that's okay as well. But yeah, thank you very much for your time and for watching and listening. And we shall see you next week. Have a great one.
Have a good week. All the best.